So let's pop up the film. We're going to make this the whole screen. Y'all don't need to see us
Yes.
during this show, this part of the show. This is a highlight. You know, Vince, there's things that you see. I watched a couple game films of CJ, and you see a lot of the things we talk about from game film, like carrying out fakes, you know, faking RPOs, things along those lines. You know, you see that stuff, and there's a lot to like. I love the fact that the first couple are deep balls, because that's the thing right now, I'd say is one of the things that right now CJ needs the most work on is just the physical maturity. I mean, you see this is a 45-yard throw from the middle of the field.
Sure.
And it's just slightly behind.
Yeah, slightly underthrown. But look at what he does in the pocket. He gets hit.
Well, the other thing I like is it gets up and gets down quickly.
Yeah.
Like his balls don't float, even when he puts them up in the air. That'll come with more strength, like just another year of physical development. That ball's on the outside shoulder. Did you see the touch here? This is the ball placement Vince was talking about. You cannot lead that throw. If you lead that throw, you're throwing them out of bounds.
Right.
The ball placement is really good. Drops this one on the outside shoulder. And he shows a really good feel for the game. I think this is the throw. Yeah, so I don't know. See if you can see this. I saw this one from game film. Watch his eyes on this. So he gets a sample of what the coverage is, right? So he sees single high.
Yep.
And he sees that safety cheated over the near hash. Well, in high school, those hashes are out even further.
Yes, they are.
So if you can freeze that guy, he knows I want to come back to the seam route backside. So that's his read. So this right here, see this? This is the single high safety. So 4 D linemen. There's 4 across here, 2 corners on each side. So there's only 1 deep safety. So watch his eyes at the snap. Look at him look hard to the right. This is exactly what Trevor Lawrence did to Kyle Hamilton in the ACC championship game. Remember when he beat him on that touchdown to Amari Rodgers? He looked Kyle Hamilton off hard and then came back. So watch the safety's reaction when he looks hard to the right. See that? As soon as he steps, he's done. And then the guy actually recovers relatively well, but CJ sees it, gets the ball out, and then this is the ball placement I'm talking about.
Yes.
The understanding, if he throws this ball to the front shoulder, it's getting picked off or his receiver's getting killed. You also can't because if it's single high, it's either going to be cover 1 or cover 3. The way that the cornerback is standing, Vince, you know it's not cover 1, right? Like this is clearly off coverage from this top corner. So what CJ knows is this seam route is going to be the way that you defend the seams against cover 3 or single high safety is the safety has to obviously run inside out. But what happens is this corners are going to play sort of inside leverage against the receivers. And then what they're going to do is they would then squeeze down on a seam route. Okay, now that didn't happen in 2018 when they played Clemson. If you remember that one seam route touchdown, I think it was to Justin Ross, I think, maybe T. Higgins, but the corner didn't squeeze down, so it looked like Alohi Gilman got beat. So the corner, the defense actually defends this really well. You see the corner squeezing down. He knows that's going to happen. So he knows that ball's got to get put on right on that guy's back shoulder. Perfect ball placement, and he's got to throw it soon. So he looks the guys off. As soon as he bites, CJ comes back, bam, lets it rip, gets good velocity on the football, and just perfect ball placement.
Yeah.
This looks even better from the game film I saw because obviously it's further back, but it's a really, really impressive aspect of his game, Vince. It's just that's that football IQ. That's coming from a sophomore in high school. We would complain about the quarterback at Notre Dame as a fifth-year senior a couple years ago not doing that. And he's doing this as a sophomore in high school. This is something else. He throws the ball really well in the run.
Yes, and he's got a very good feel for the pocket. Like he understands when to escape, how to escape, and he keeps his eyes downfield.
Right. Always. And here's the thing I said in my breakdown, Vince. He is a pocket passer, but he is an athletic pocket passer.
Yes, agreed.
So he's not really a guy looking to run, but he can run. But here's the play right here. This play, and there's another one later that just kind of shows his athleticism.
See that little move right there? That little kind of stop and twist move.
It's an athletic move. This is what I said the other day. He's got like a lacrosse player body in athleticism, right? And
he just got himself 5 yards of separation on that defender by that little jab step kind of turn thing, and then he was able to keep his eyes downfield and get the ball out.
Right. Great. Vince, you noted this too. Vince, you said this to me. Vince told me this before the show. He said he's got a very mature pocket presence, and this is a perfect example. Not just the manipulation, but watch him tuck the ball into his chest and turn his shoulders as he manipulates the pocket.
Just in case a hand gets in there, an arm, a random, he runs into his own offensive lineman. Mm-hmm. He brings it down close to his body so that he doesn't lose the football. And then when he gets clear, he brings it back up. And look at his eyes. They're always downfield. Always.
Yep.
There were times
feel
where
the
I
rush. Look downfield. Feel the rush.
And like
you got to be able to do that.
I know this is a highlight film, so things are going to be good. But I almost felt like at times he held onto the ball too long.
Yep.
You know what I mean? But
as he's trying to make a play.
Right. Yes. Absolutely.
Like the film I was showing earlier. There's a play in there. This is another example of just look, little bit older. Right. This throw doesn't project as much to the next level because a good team is going to come underneath that. Right. But as he gets stronger, that ball's not being underthrown that way. It'll get out there.
Exactly.
But like sometimes he'll miss because he's trying to do too much.
Mm-hmm.
It'll look like he's running. So the receiver kind of stops moving and then he stops and pulls up and throws it over top. And it's like, okay, that'll come with more experience with your receivers. But that you want to see that playmaking ability.
Well, and you want to see this ball right here. He's on the far hash. He throws the ball almost all the way out to the sideline on an outcut and he puts it in a perfect place. So that shows arm strength, right? That shows good arm strength for a kid who's in his sophomore year. And we've talked about him underthrowing some long balls and some things like that. But that's only going to get better as he gets bigger and stronger. And the same with that out pass. But he already is able to do it as a sophomore, right? I mean, there's another one right there. He's on the far hash. He gets that ball out right on the hands of the receiver. That is not an easy throw.
Right. Well, that's something we talked about. Ryan and I talked about this, Vince, in the show we did after Irish Invasion. His ball placement is special, right?
Yes,
for his age.
Absolutely.
His ball placement is special.
And that's what stuck out to me.
Explain that, Vince, because we're not talking about accuracy or completion percentage. So explain what ball placement is and why it's so important.
So we talked about, his swagger and all of that stuff, and that's all well and good, and that's really, really important. But then he started throwing the ball around. And there were times where he was talking to his receivers before they threw the ball, and he was asking them where they wanted the ball, okay? And he was putting it where they wanted the ball, right? And this is in one-on-ones, and this is when they're going on air and things of that nature. But there's still guys that can't do that, okay? His ball placement is superb. And we talked about the play where, you had the single high safety and the ball placement and where to put the ball. You can know that's where you want to put the ball all you want, but actually being able to do it is a whole other conversation. And he's actually able to put the ball where he needs to put the ball almost every single time. His accuracy is something I haven't seen out of a Notre Dame quarterback in a really, really long time. And it's, again, I don't want people to freak out and get too excited, but from an accuracy standpoint, he reminds me of Jimmy Clausen.
Right. We were making comps earlier today, and I said just from an accuracy standpoint, and then, having a good arm, but not an elite, arm from a strength standpoint, I think Jimmy was a good comparison. I used a more athletic Ryan Finley with a better arm.
Okay.
Ryan's comp I liked a lot too that I didn't think of until after Ryan said it. I didn't think out of it at all until Ryan said it is what I meant to say. That's another athletic play right here. It's a really, really athletic play. Yeah. I really like this play. It's just spinning out, feeling the rush, spinning out, flipping those hips and getting the ball.
And that shows you the feel he has for the pocket right there.
Right. But yeah, Ryan had a really good comp, Ryan, or Vince, that I'm now that I'm thinking about it, I'm trying to remember who his comp was, but he had a really good comp that I hadn't thought of for him. And we're going to have Devin Jackson on here in a little bit. And he compared him to, I got to ask Ryan who his comp was, because I forget who was your comp. Let me ask Ryan now about that. But the one that Devin Jackson, who's going to join us, who's one of our new recruiting reporters, was Devin Leary from NC State, a kid, Vince, who I'm extremely high on. So the comps are that we're looking for are all about guys that are really accurate. Davis Mills, that's what his comp was. The kid from Stanford, who was a 5-star kid coming out. That was Ryan's, which I thought was good. So that's kind of where I'm at. I thought that was a really good comp. Because again, not a guy with an elite arm, but a good arm. A guy with great ball placement, a guy that has a really good feel for the game, all those different type of things. And so those are the comp. John A1 compared him to Joe Burrow. I think Joe Burrow is a little bit more athletic than Dante was, or I mean, not Dante, but for him, it's just a lot of it's about ball placement. So I want to bring in Devin Jackson. And I want to introduce, I thought this would be a great show to introduce everybody to Devin Jackson. Devin has joined the Irish Breakdown team recently. He had an article out today about Jaden Ausberry. So, you talk about like getting on the boss's good side. Have one of your first articles be about his favorite player in the class. So very well done on that, Devin. But, Devin, you had a chance to pop in CJ Carr's film today, and you had a very unique comp. So, talk Devin. So for those who don't know, how I got to know Devin first was he does NFL draft scouting. So he does a lot of, him and Ryan knew each other from that. They were kind of both in that universe. So kind of breaking down film and evaluating Ryan, Vince is kind of what he does.
Yeah.
So I wanted to bring him in. I thought this would be a great time to introduce everybody to Devin, who's now a new member of the IB team, and get your feel for it, Devin. So just as you watch through the film, just talk through to us about some things that you saw from CJ Carr and that, how that projects to the next level.
Yeah, well, first of all, thanks for having me on and to talk about CJ Carr and, being able to watch his film. I thought, I wanted to kind of get a reference of what he was before, obviously, he broke out his sophomore year. So I went back and looked at kind of his limited freshman tape, saw, kind of where did he start and how did he look. And I thought the first thing that stood out to me was his, delivery. It quickened from freshman to sophomore season. He wasn't holding on to the ball as much on quick reads. And I felt like he was more pushing the ball more so than actually driving it. I felt like a lot of the time he was, using a lot of his upper body and using all arm to throw the football as a freshman. But sophomore, I saw him drive the ball more, especially over the middle of the field. I thought his accuracy was really good in the short and intermediate games, which I think he'll thrive at the college level as well. And I was listening to you guys, a little bit beforehand too about the deep ball, and you see flashes of it, but certainly that's something you want to see him improve on, just continue to grow more and understand where he needs to, hit his landmarks on throws, what he can get away with, at this level right now, the high school level compared to the college level. But he's certainly more advanced than I've seen in quarterback quite some time, just as a sophomore in high school. There's a lot of things that some college players struggle with in terms of, hitting those quick hitters, those deep out routes. So it was very interesting to watch his film and see a player that, you could probably drop on a college roster right now, and I think he would do okay, but certainly you expect him to get better.
Mentally, I think he could handle a lot more than most college sophomores.
I agree with that.
It's the physical development that will. I think what Devin was going is I knew where your head was going, Devin. It's the accuracy, the read, the timing, the anticipation, all those things. You could drop him on a college roster, and then you're like, wait a minute, he's still 6'2.5", 185 pounds sophomore in high school. So hold on a second. But I get where you're going with that, Devin, is the feel for the game, the accuracy, the willingness to attack all parts of the field. A lot of young kids don't have. Heck, Notre Dame's last quarterback was unwilling to attack the middle of the field. That takes a different type of mentality that he has. Your comparison for him was Devin Leary, and you and I have talked about Devin Leary in the past, Devin Jackson. I know it's not just the name that you like about Devin Leary, but talk to me about that comp, because the one thing that I thought was different is I thought Devin Leary in high school had even more zip. That is the final thing for me, that if CJ can, as he matures the next 2 years, can have a jump physically and sort of the ball just really coming out even harder, that's that final piece that's going to make his arm talent really, really, really special. But talk to me about that comp, why Devin Leary was the guy that kind of popped in your head when you talk about CJ Carr.
Yeah, when you see the stature in the pocket, I see a lot of the up and down. You talk a lot about like you want a quarterback to its mechanics to be up and down. You don't want it to be wasted motion. I see a lot of the similarities in terms of when they get to the top of their drop, they're already ready to throw. It's not like they have to transfer their weight or have to get lower to make the throw. They can stand in the pocket and deliver the football. And I saw a lot of similarities where both guys aren't necessarily, they're not going to be like Lamar Jackson type of players or players like Patrick Mahomes, where you expect a lot of plays out of structure. But within structure and moving in the pocket, I think I see a lot of similarities. Like they can feel the pressure around them. They can sidestep a lot of the rushes. I saw a lot of that CJ Carr's film, as well as Devin Leary. They're going to be able to make plays off schedule, but they're not relying on it. They're relying on their accuracy, timing, and getting the football out quickly to their playmakers. And I think a nice balance of, a player, you need to make those special plays that you just can't defend, but also running the confines of the offense and being able to come in and immediately, I think, compete for that starting quarterback position. It reminds me of Leary, because Leary came in, I believe a 4 or 5 star guy, and came in and, got some snaps as a freshman immediately. And every time he stepped on the field, it seemed like he got better. And I see a lot of that with Carr. It seemed like, throughout the season that he continued to get better on the little things.
I think the kid's a winner too. I think that's the thing, at least he's shown so far. I'm referring to Devin Leary. That's the thing I've loved the last 2 years. When he doesn't play, NC State's not very good. When he plays, NC State's really good. Now that we don't know about CJ Carr, because he's only played 1 year. Now he went 9-1, but he's only played 1 year of football, right? I mean, so that's something but that's part of the evolution of a young quarterback, is learning how to win, learning how to fail, and every quarterback needs to fail at some point in time. And then how do you respond to that? And so those are the things that we'll learn about this young man. And those things can only be learned over time. And that's one of the things that you'll have to learn. So AST 12321. This is a good one. I'm gonna throw this down to you, Devin. Because NFL draft guy, I know that you watched a ton of film of this guy last year. But what do you think of Mac Jones' comparison from a throwing perspective, not athleticism? I saw that somewhere.
Yeah, I think I can see it a little bit. I do think Carr just has more natural arm talent than Mac Jones. That would be my only disagreement with that comp in particular. And I think, while Mac Jones was excellent in terms of placement and keeping things on schedule, I just think, Carr is a little bit more dynamic in the ability to push the ball down the field. Some of the things that you talked about in terms of what Carr struggles with now, I think that's something that, he can kind of get past in terms of, being able to layer those deep balls. So I think in terms of vertical game, I think Carr certainly has more juice to his arm. But in terms of, keeping things on schedule, taking what's in front of him, being, not I wouldn't say patient in the pocket, but not panicking in the pocket. I could certainly see that in terms of play style, but I don't really see the comp too much there.